All right. We'll begin immediately. I'm notified that we're live on YouTube. Yeah. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to be here. We're having the second session on Daring to Build for Series 2. And we have with us Toluwani Elemosho, who has been invited to give us the underlying mechanics behind the narrative of building in an enabling environment and in an unenabling environment. It's so great to have you here, Tolu. And I'm looking forward to an exciting conversation because you have one of those rare stories where you built in an environment such as OAU, and then now you're building another startup in Estonia where it's better. The narrative is better. The environment for innovation is quite better, right? So first thing I want to just get to know you. How was the experience? So just tell us, as I said, these conversations will be in 4 phases. We're going to have the trivia where we just get to know who you are beyond what is on LinkedIn or what is online. Then secondly, we're going to have the discourse. Then we're going to have a strategy or clarity session. And then finally, we'll have the forum where we discuss the one action plan that we are going to take from here and start to work on as an undergraduate community. So first off, how was building your first startup in university and your first startup right there in Estonia? So just tell us the two stories and do a little comparison between both. Great to have you around.
Yeah, thank you for having me. But yeah, it's great to be here finally. Um, yeah, my startup journey in OAU, like I said earlier, that um, it started with that curiosity, that willingness to, make a change in my community, in my immediate community. I've always had that goal and that vision to change the world. So I thought, well, um, you can't change the world if you cannot change your world. You have to start from your immediate environment. And so it all started. Yeah. And we evolved OE Markets. The startup name was oemarkets.com. Yes. So it was just connecting buyers and sellers. We noticed the problem that people go on Fudge board to write, I want to sell a phone or I want to sell a laptop. So we thought, okay, rather than walking from your hostel or from wherever you are to that Fudge board, to write, why not do it in the comfort of your home?
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So let me help clarify, right? For people who don't
Okay.
understand what a fudge board is.
Oh, okay.
Fudge is the short form of a hostel we call Fudge Hostel, right? And in all of our hostels in Obafemi Awolowo University, we used to have these wooden boards where we are normally supposed to just post relevant information, but people started having needs to connect with, to sell, to buy, to connect with people. So people started using these boards as advertisement boards, right? So that's what they call Fudge board. So every week, during the week, you can just go to a Fudge board. You want to buy a phone, there's somebody that's posted his contacts for you to buy a phone. You want to even buy somebody else's room or a room space, right? You can get it
Yeah.
on Fudge board. So that's what it means by Fudge board. So please continue.
Okay. So, in fact, people come all the way from town, to Fudgeboard, and you can imagine the distance from town outside campus to sell. So we thought, okay, why not create a solution where you can just um, use from the comfort of your home and have access to the whole market, and it's just a way of bringing the whole community on one platform. So yeah, we started like I said, it was just something I wanted. I never even thought of, giving it, like, I never thought of making profits from the whole business. So I just did it for fun, and it got a lot of traction. People liked it. People liked the idea, and as time went on, I thought, well, we could make money from this stuff. So we started with charging people to advertise on the platform, but that really didn't work well. That really didn't work well because there was no returning customers. So we decided to evolve our business model to getting commission from, buyers and sellers from that transaction. You just take your commission from it, and that worked well. That that worked well. So we evolved into selling actual products. So it moved from connecting buyers and sellers to selling actual products. Um, Basically, that's the summary of, how the Oloe market went. So coming to Estonia, um, yeah, I think the startup ecosystem in OAU, not in Nigeria now, OAU is kind of similar to the startup ecosystem in Estonia. I can say I can attribute that to the population.
Wait, I'm sorry. I want you to say that is a very exciting thing to note. So you're saying the ecosystem, not in Nigeria, but in OU that you experienced, can be likened to what you're getting in Estonia.
Yes, yes, yes.
Wow, that's brilliant. I'm going to ask a question about that after you're done with this session.
Okay, that's fine. So I can attribute that to the population. OAU community is a closed community. I mean, you have access to everyone. Everyone can be on a platform. If you post something online, you can be sure that a huge percentage of the population would get whatever you post online. And same thing here in Estonia. It's a tech community, so most of the activities happens online. Yeah, so I can be sure that if I post anything on a particular group on Facebook, a lot of people will see it. Yeah, so it was easy to reach the market. In OAU, it was really easy to reach the. We had a group. I don't know if it still exists. We had a student union group page where you can just post something and a lot of people see. The same thing here. Um, Africans here have a group page where you're sure that if you post anything, everybody would see it. Like, not if not everybody, it's like 80% of the people here. And also, it's similar in that, uh, and I think this has to do with all ecosystem, where if you want to create a solution, it starts by asking the right questions or identifying a problem and trying to solve it, doing market research. So it's the same thing here, just as it is in OAU. And also, because I'm in a student environment, yeah, opportunities, trying to get opportunities is basically similar to that of OAU community. You have access to venues, you have access to facilities, you have access to, your peers, a community. It's kind of similar to. I can say that the difference here is that because of the okay, I'm an expert here. I'm an international student, so it's difficult to integrate into their main system. Like, I mean, the core OAU, I mean, the core Estonian community. I remember at a time where I wanted to join a club, it was difficult because I didn't understand Estonian, and that club was Estonian speaking. Yeah, so the difference is basically that integration into the communities, the core communities, Estonian communities, and that you can attribute that to the language barrier. Unlike in OAU, where you can join anything as long as you have that passion and that willingness to, you can join any club you want to join. Also, another difference is there is a bridge between the community, I mean the workplace, and the what's called the students community. Yeah. Um, I can say that every student here, you have access to work. In fact, most students I know, they work full time. Okay, unlike in OU where you are kind of um, you only get to work full time when you finish university or something. Everyone here works, you're working full time. So there is that connection between the school system, yeah, and the outside world. Yeah. As a student, you can also be working professionally, like you're working professionally. You understand what I mean? I guess that's another difference you can point out. Yeah. And also here you have a like an enabling environment whereby people invest in ideas, people invest not necessarily for the profit, but for you know um, for the fun of it, because they understand that um, people in the long run it will be profitable. Like it's profitable for them. So you have government agencies sponsoring hackathons, companies around sponsoring hackathons, student hackathons, and there's just that bridge between the students community and the workplace, the professional, the workplace. You understand what I mean? So those are the things I feel like. Those are the differences I feel that are there in both the OU community and unlike in Nigerian community, you don't have access. I don't know if it's different now, but when I was in Nigeria, you don't have access to that outside world. You are just within your school your school community. It's so difficult, and you cannot be a full-time student in Nigeria. I mean, a full-time worker while studying in Nigeria. You have to wait till you graduate, before you start looking for a job and all that. And also here, nobody asks you for your certificates. Nobody asks for your certificate. I've done like about 2 jobs here now, and not for once someone asked that, okay, we want to see your certificate, where you graduated from. They care more about what you can do, what you can do. Nobody cares about yourself. So those are the differences, between the the OU ecosystem and the Estonian ecosystem. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that expose. Listening to that is really interesting, right? And we can see the power of enabling environments and the difference it can cause on the realities of students that are venturing into innovating to solve their local problems, right? We've come to the end of the first phase, but in the article we talked about the first wave, the 8 stages of development, and then we ended the conversation on enabling environments, which we've already clearly discussed, right? So let's move into the next phase where we're having a discourse, right? So what do you think are the biggest barriers that you've noticed in between these two environments, and how do you think they can be addressed? But also with that response, can you just quickly highlight what was your first wave experience, within your time, that also now happens to share the same time with when you were inspired to start building the solution that you built while you were in Nigeria?
Oh, okay. My first wave experience was basically out of curiosity, out of the desire to create, not necessarily out of survival or something, but it was just the desire to create something. And it started with boredom. We had a long strike, 6-month strike thing, and I was just bored at home. I didn't know what to do. I thought, oh, wow, I love programming, I love technology, and all. Why not find a solution? Yeah, so I started asking the right questions, like you said in your article, like asking the right questions. Why not, why do you have to go to Fudge board write um, to write that you want to sell something when you can do this in the comfort of your home? Yeah. So I my first wave started, out of curiosity. Yeah. So I moved to implementation. Yeah. Trying to find out if someone would or people would use it, asking questions. Also, I remember creating the first version. That's like an like the MVP version, and people loved it online. In fact, before we resumed, I started promoting it on Facebook groups and all that, and people really loved the idea, and that gave me that motivation to do this, to want to do it. So by the time school resumed, the platform had already gained traction. People already knew about it, so it was just for me to continue. Yeah. Yeah. So while doing it, let me talk about the challenges. While trying to build the stuff, trying to scale the solution, I had issue of like capital. Yeah, I wanted to stock phones, products, and all that, but I didn't have the capital, right? So also I had issue of getting more customers, yeah. But because you can easily reach a lot of people through targeted communities like fellowships, like clubs. I was in quite a number of clubs. I was in IEEE, I was in SIFE, now in actors, yeah. So I was able to penetrate into that audience yet.
So that's the power of communities. Very
Yeah.
important to this ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really excited that we'll be having someone just discussing communities on Friday. His name is Kelvin Umechuku. So that's going to be another exciting session. So please continue.
Yeah. So another challenge was to mobilize the team. You understand that building a business is really about the teamwork and all that. So that was one big challenge I faced. I remember going to some the guys up there at that time, computer science guys and all that. Man, I was rejected. So one of the way I saw that was going for the humble ones. Um, I had also leveraging personal relationships. There are people that personally that can help you. I feel you don't have to go up there. There are people within your reach, people that you can easily. As I was telling these guys yesterday, that the name oumarket.com, I didn't give it that name. It was my friend, a friend of mine that did it. And the initial designs, advertisements, and all that, I didn't do that. Even the name College More, I didn't give it that name. Like my friend Ayo Bashmala is here right here in Estonia. He was the one that gave it. So leveraging your immediate circuit to achieve what you want to achieve, not necessarily looking up there. And that takes me to a strategy in Amazon. I don't know if you've heard it. They call it the Gazelle Project or something. That was a strategy to get more publishers into Amazon. It does like look for the weakest, like sick cheetahs. I mean, a cheetah looks for the sick gazelle. You understand? The weakest, they go for the weakest because those are the people that you can reach. Those are the people that need you, not necessarily those that do not need you. So I was able to solve that problem of mobilizing my team by leveraging the people that need our solution. Yeah. The people that I can reach, the people I can easily talk to, and not necessarily those up there. Yeah. Yeah, and also not being afraid of partnering with other guys, with my friends and all that. So also another challenge is trying to balance my academics. At the time, my academics was suffering. Yeah, trying to balance the business with my academics, and the way I solved that was to spend at least 1 to 2 hours on my academics every day, every day. So that has a compound effect, that eventually at the end of the semester, I'm not lagging behind and trying to balance academics and schoolwork. I also changed my department. Like I said, I changed my department, yeah, from agri-economics to market consumer sciences. It was easier for me to cope with that department. Yeah. And yeah, I guess those are basically the also, yeah, I remember I had this problem of transition. Yeah, and that was really big because after I graduated, I I was I was posted to Kano for youth service. So there was a problem of transition. Eventually, I was able to transfer the business to someone, but unfortunately, the person didn't transfer the business to another person. You get so. I think if you ask me what I could have done better is to pay attention to transferring the business to the right person. You understand? That's very, very, very important. But I eventually came back to OAU and fixed that anyways. So those are like the challenges that I feel that, and here in Estonia, yeah, basically, I've not really had, a challenge because everything is just set. I had the experience from OAU. The and basic amenities are here, electricity and every other thing. So I really cannot say this is the challenge that the solution I built here was just past the prototype stage, like the MVP stage. Yeah. Um, yeah. So we are moving to um, to scaling. Yeah. And so far, I've not really had any challenge. It has just been smooth and all that. I got the right people to work with, and everything has just been good so far.
Wow, that's very, it's very clear to see the difference between an enabling and non-enabling environment from your conversation. That was really exciting, right? So let's jump into the next conversation, which is how do you think that young people, like now, we have leaders across different universities in Nigeria on the program.
Yeah.
And how do you think we can contribute to making sure that every university is like your current experience in Estonia? How can we make our universities more like an enabling environment for people who want to be value creators in their universities?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm not talking to like the government because everything I'm going to, everything that can, or not everything, but one major factor is having a responsible government. But since I'm not talking to government, I'll just leave that aside and focus on the people we have, the leaders we have here right now. Man, you cannot depend on your, you have no excuse. You cannot depend on the government or the external condition to to be successful. You just have to do it, irrespective of whatever that you're facing. There are different approaches to getting things done. You understand? First, you have to, how should I put it? Like, you have to do it for yourself. You've got to just do it for yourself. Everything revolves around grit and trying to beat the horde. You get the system is not enabling, like electricity and all that factors as social amenities and all that. But I don't know, it just has to come from within you. You have to just try to beat the odds and look beyond the challenges. Yeah, like I said, most of the problem or most of the challenges you face has to do with or will be solved with your determination and your grit. I can give you examples. Um, when I was in OA, I had a friend that we were doing business together. And this guy, at that point, we were already shipping, importing goods, items from the US into Nigeria. And that time, BlackBerry was in vogue. Yeah. My friend ordered about 60 pieces of BlackBerry Q10. I don't know if you guys are familiar with BlackBerry. BlackBerry Q10, 60 pieces, worth about millions. Yeah. And when the BlackBerry came, the guy realized that they had no SIM. These CDMA phones, it's not possible to return them. That's like a big loss. You understand? That itself is discouraging. Yeah. The guy sold his car because of that and all that. And I can tell you right now that this happened about 4 years ago or so. This guy right now is like one of the top retailers in the OE community. So all the problems you're going to be facing, everything can be solved with that determination, that mindset that, man, I'm doing it for myself, I'm doing it for the next generation. But you talk about changing the narrative and just trying to change the narrative, why you challenge you challenge the norm and all that. But there are a lot of because number one, if you don't, the current school system would not help you achieve anything. Yeah, you can be good academically, you can cram, you can pass and all that, but the reality out there is way, way different. Yeah. For instance, the current school system will teach you that you don't make mistakes. Like, it's either pass or fail, pass or fail. But out there, mistakes is what makes you successful. Like, you understand? So if I can take you back to the before 19th century, the 19th century, this current school system did not exist at that point in time. Yeah. It was the current school system came as a result to fix the industrial what's called era, to fix the labor shortage during the industrial era.
The industrial crisis. Yeah.
Exactly. So now we are way beyond that era. Yeah, we are now in the information eras. So that cannot really work. That system, if it doesn't evolve, cannot really work in our era. So it's just way, 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 way beyond. It's you cannot survive just focusing on your academic. Academics is good and fine. You should pass your exams and all that, but honestly, with the way the world is going right now, you cannot survive. So you either have an option either to be successful or not to be successful. And to be successful means you have to evolve from that school system. You have to teach yourself. Since your school system, the system around you is not teaching you, you have to just teach yourself. And one of the ways to really teach yourself, to really challenge is to build stuff. Just build stuff. So I'll just advise that you guys should look above the barrier you're facing. I've been in Nigeria and I'm out of Nigeria. I know like the difference. Yeah, there is a big, huge barrier in starting a business in Nigeria. But you guys can leverage the opportunity of being in the community, on the campus. There are a lot of advantage. Number one, the cost of space is very, very affordable. I think I rented my office then for 30K or so, 30,000 naira per year. You can't get that price anywhere outside. You get. So you have people.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have people. You have people that can help you. You have the community. You have the market. The market is easily accessible. Okay, it's way, way different from outside. Outside, imagine you're doing business in Ikeja. Would you want to target? It's more expensive to do marketing and all that. But in OAU community, just posting on student union group, you are reaching, your market and all that. So you guys should take advantage of the fact that you are in OAU, like you are in that student community. Yeah. And also market, like I said, like you have access to mentorship. Yeah. You have access to volunteers. You can just easily post on social media that you want someone to volunteer for you on something, and you see a lot of people that wants to do that. Okay. So those are the ways you can, leverage the opportunities around the campus community. Yeah. And it's the best place to start. Most of the guys doing well right now in the startup community started from their school, yeah, from their campus. Yeah, look at Battelle now is organizing this great, awesome initiative, and it started from I was there. Yeah, it started from from campus. A lot of people, Pastor Tayo, actually, a lot of people that I know. What was this guy? This Jobberman guys. A lot of them started on campus. Yeah. So campus is the best way, the best place. There's no place better than the campus community. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. I love that you said it with your chest and with that much confidence, because
Yeah.
I've been speaking to a lot of investors, right? And they always mention two problems, right? Especially I was even speaking to one yesterday, and when I told him that that the Venture Matrix for the Future of Africa project actually negotiates that argument, right? That the undergraduate community is the best place for us to fix our economy by creating an enabling environment for people to build solutions and all of that. And the first question they asked me is, how many people have been able to build in that system and is still surviving today? Right. And I always respond that, oh, it's because there's no enabling environment. And it says, okay, that I'm mentioning Jobberman and all of that, okay, how can we actually persuade investors to see the value within that community? Right. So what do you think we could do, as leaders who would be representing these people that are trying to build and all of that, trying to change policies and all of that? How do you think we can sell the narrative that if they can support that our undergraduate communities begin to have enabling environments, it will actually be a profitable investment for them? Since you are, in an enabling environment currently, what do you think are the changes we need to make as individuals, and as a community for us to now be investment worthy? I hope the question is not too long.
No, it's not. Yeah, I think one of the things that we can do, yeah, is to not restrict our markets to campus and the campus community. We can build stuff from campus community, targeting a larger audience.
Nice.
Like, yeah,
Nice.
just like building Jobberman from on campus. Yeah. So the OAU community would now be like a Silicon Valley of Nigeria, just like how Silicon Valley, for instance, is impacting the whole world. Yeah. So we are not just restricting our markets to the OAU community. Okay. Now it's going to be Nigeria, Africa, but from OAU. So we can convince the investor by pointing out that the cost of operations in Ife community is way lower than anywhere in Nigeria. Yeah. I think electricity is cool in Ife. Yeah. So all those factors, electricity, the cost of operations, and all that.
Access to talents,
access
to markets.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You have like an existing market that you can pilot, you can run your pilot phase with and scale from there. So I feel that that's one of the ways we can convince the investors to look inwards and invest.
All right, awesome, amazing stuff, right? So let's go into the strategy sessions.
Okay.
Right, what are the things that you think are most important to doing as leaders, within undergraduate communities across Nigeria that would convert our communities into an enabling environment for value creation? What practical steps do we have to take?
Okay. Yeah. Well, for for I have to be honest. Yeah. There is no, yeah, like I feel um everything, because I just as much as possible trying to avoid talking about the government, the system, and all that. So I will just divert the whole responsibility to the leaders. Yeah. Um, like it all started with, from your article, it started with the first wave, yeah, and subsequent stages to um, building a vibrant community and ecosystem. Yeah, I feel everything still boils down to the students. The students, yeah, they they have to just show that that grit, that passion to build stuff, and not necessarily to build stuff because um, not necessarily to build stuff and leave it. You know, build stuff and stay with it. So by the time you're leaving, at one point or the other, people will graduate. By the time you're leaving OAU, by the time you're leaving the university system, you're going to start another branch. And that was what I did at that point. At that point, when I was leaving OAU, I left OAU market, went to Kano to start BUK market. Then I was serving close to Bayero University, Kano.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually did that. Yeah. So I started BUK market at that point in time, and there was a lot of challenges here and there. So I had to come back to OAU. Yeah, at that point, some things happened. Well, I don't know if you want me to go to that, but my point is that
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can quickly touch on that. Actually, we still have almost 30 minutes to spare.
okay. Yeah. BUK market, the market in BUK was quite different from that of OAU in that the opportunity was there. The opportunity was there. Uh, Unlike OAU, the market was saturated. But in BUK, there was no, the whole campus, there was no one selling phone, a single phone on that campus at that point.
Wow.
Yes. So the market was just bare and it was a virgin land. That though if you want to get a phone or you want to get a gadget, you have to travel like about 45 up to 30 minutes trip to one market there. So the opportunity was there. The challenge I had then was the I needed um, to stock my office. I needed that investment. Unlike in OAU, where uh, when someone orders a phone, you can, even if you don't have the product, you can easily go to someone nearby and get the product. You know how they do in in Ikeja or something like all those
Get Jan
Igbo
Alaba
guys.
and the rest. Yeah.
Exactly. So you can easily do that. But because of the distance of the student community and this the market, getting a phone, you have to convince them to give you the money so that you can go buy it for them and all that. So the main challenge was investment. You needed to stock the phone. If I had the investment here to stock the phones there, I'll probably be a billionaire right now. So the market was there, but after my my youth service, I just thought, man, for what the weather was so not favorable for me personally. I just left this stuff, and I was also planning to travel abroad and all that, so it didn't really work out. So back to the question, I feel one of the major things we can do is build stuff, not to leave it eventually. like build stuff to.
Wait, I'm sorry. Just to clarify, so the only reason why you didn't explore BUK was because it didn't have an enabling environment, even in its faintest form, like in OAU. There was no ecosystem that supported that you could even create and solve problems, right?
Yeah, of course, the only challenge there was we had a lot of calls, we had a lot of people calling to get a phone, but the products were not available. You understand? So the only challenge was the investment. Yeah, you needed to stock your office, with products so that when customers come, they are able to get whatever they want. You get? So that was the main challenge at the time. Yeah. So not necessarily the environment was there, like was enabling, the market was there, like people actually loved the solution, and but there was no investment. Yeah. And the system was also there was this barrier between, especially when you're coming from the southern part of the country, there was this barrier between their main system. You can't even get an investment within the Hausa community. They would prefer to give their people than to give you as an outsider. So it was very, very difficult. You get, and like coming back to what I said earlier, that it is there is that there is that gap between the investment community, the investors, and the students community. You understand? So um, yeah, so that was it. That was it basically.
Okay, okay. So thank God for initiatives like this, because one major goal of all of this beyond the talk is that we're doing this so that we can have enough data, to engage
Okay.
investors and say, in fact, look at now, we have Tolu is in Estonia now. So assuming this guy had something like, Venture Matrix where he could easily access investment, Tolu would have gotten you people money. Awesome. Okay, so on the final note, as we enter the final session, right? What do you think is that one thing that we need to change right now that will radically disrupt the current narrative about young people and value creation in Africa? What's the one thing we need to change and do right now that would
As
cause the difference and create more Tolus like you, create more realities like yours in our communities?
yeah, yes. I guess all of your questions, yeah, still just boils down to that self-awareness that no one will help you. You just have to help yourself. You just have to help yourself. Yeah. And think of starting a business as creating a change, not necessarily creating a continent. Yeah. Asking the right questions, asking yourself.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll round up from a question on that. Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Asking the right questions. Yeah. Trying to ask the right questions on trying to ask the right questions, solve a problem around what you love to do. Yeah. Try to challenge the norm, solve the problem around what you really, really love to do. Ask the right questions, make market research. I think everything just starts with finding a problem, try to search a problem around your community. How are you going to help? Don't just wait. Yeah, there are two options. Yeah, you either be an entrepreneur or you be like a blue collar, um, worker. You understand? Yeah, even if you want to go on to get a job after school and all that, most jobs right now do not want. Um, they don't care about your degree. They actually care about what you want to do and what you can do. You understand? And all these things starts with your involvement in communities on campus, like trying to be a leader, yeah, creating a change around you, yeah, and also trying to be like a, 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 a problem solver, you understand? You just have to, you have to just take that step, that initiative to, push and be better. Like I said, the current system cannot help you at this point in time. Nobody goes to school just for the degree or anything. The university is chunking out degrees. I think I read something like about 500,000. The Nigerian university produce like 500,000 graduates every year. So you are either a part of the problem or you are the solution. You understand? You don't want to be part of those 500,000 looking for job. You get. We also need job creators. So just look beyond. It's just your mindset. Everything starts with your mindset. Just look beyond the the challenges you have around and build a solution. Try to create a change around you. And if you think you don't have a business idea or something, join communities. You can develop yourself within the community, as in within communities. So our collective actions on all these things would actually bring about a vibrant ecosystem in OEU. Yeah, that investors would honestly, like you said, the questions they've been asking, like who has done this, who has done that. Like, we have left, we've done what we can do, and we've left it at a particular stage. It is now left for those guys coming up to 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 continue, yeah, and create that enabling environment. You understand? We already, and I think it's really really moving from the time we were there. The OAU, I left Nigeria like last year or so, and I went to the OAU market and it was so vibrant. Not maybe not so vibrant, but it was people were coming. It was cool. So it's just for you, if whatever you can do now, if you get an office after finding a solution, get an office in that OU market. Having an office there itself is marketing, you understand? People pass by and see what you do, you understand? And they approach you. That's how it all starts. Yeah. I feel that market is right now, or that time when I was there, is more of it's more of gadgets, selling food stuff and all that. If guys can come up with solutions, technology solutions, yeah, in that market, yeah. So now evolving that market from just selling food stuff and all that into creating building solutions. You get that makes a whole lot of sense. You can create offices, you can create hub. I mean, Wally Music was doing something like that at that time. Yeah. And I think right now they have some I don't know if you guys can create innovation hubs, you understand? What's called acceleration hubs, all those stuff like the incubation hubs and all that, where it's cheap to rent a shop there, very cheap. Maybe in a year you get 80,000 naira or so, which is relatively affordable. Can start something there. The electricity there is okay, like it's just awesome. So you guys can start something there, and with time, it's just a matter of time. When you start building, when your solution starts going out there, then people will take notice. In fact, you don't have to be the one begging investors; they will take notice and they'll just jump at you like, "I want to invest." So I'm really counting on you guys to make that community, yeah, become the innovation center of Nigeria. Yeah, you have access to talent, like Patel said. You have access to people even love that idea that students are doing this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So with time, it's just a matter of time. Yaba, I was reading the history of how Yaba started and became what it is today. It started bare too, but it was just guys, people like Bosun, guys coming in there to build stuff, you understand, and scaling their solution, eventually attracting other guys, attracting investors and all that. So we can do that too in OEU. We can do that too. Just we just need people with that willingness and that passion, you're going to face problems. Honestly, I won't lie to you. You face challenges, but looking beyond that challenge, that no one can help you. The system cannot help you. You cannot wait for the government to do stuff for you right now. You have to just do it yourself. So, and when you are living where you from when you start, from where you start, from where you start, have the mindset that definitely you're going to leave this place, but you also have this mindset that you are living it as an entity. You transfer this solution to the next generation. You understand? And by the time you leave, it's still running and it's still vibrant. So I feel that's like the major problem. When people, you see people of neonatal, all those guys, when they build a solution in OAU and all that, and they leave, the solution dies with them. So we have to really pay attention to that part where people can transfer, solutions and make it sustainable.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for those contributions, right? And we'll end with this. So in the Venture Matrix for the Future of Africa project, right, we propose that students, solve their local problems with global solutions, but then they should serve their outside markets first, right? Where you build a solution that directly impacts both your community, your university community, and then the community hosting the university. So, for in case of OAU, it should affect Ife, so that we can now have a replication of that effect on the national economy instead of just building for profit like everybody. So you talked about building for impact, right? So how do you bridge the gap between building for impact and building to generate revenue, right? How do we navigate that bridge between trying to cause an actual change, solving real actual social problems, and then also generating revenue? Because that road is a lonely, long road.
Yeah, yeah, it is actually. Um, yeah, um, bridging that gap first. I guess this has to, because to really navigate the path, it depends. It wholly depends on, the stakeholders, the investors, and banks and um, governments and all that. Yeah. Well, the way this thing works is that the government, and I think it's everywhere in the world, even in the United States, everywhere. I don't know if you've seen a movie like Men Who Built America. It's a series. It didn't say the government who built America. Yeah, it said Men Who Built America. So I feel the government.
I love that series. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great point.
the government does nothing. They only um, you only get their attention what you do. You understand? And you can see that happening in Lagos right now. Their eyes are now on, Lagos startup and Nigerian startup and all that. They are trying to show interest in all this stuff. It wasn't like that. Nobody cared about startup technology, but because guys have started doing something, then people, it naturally attracts them. You understand? So bridging that gap, is everything depends on the students, the the leaders. Yeah, it is whatever they do that eventually translates to, attracting, investors and or everyone else. Yeah. So it goes back to my previous point of, um, it has started anyway. We have started. It goes back to my previous point of starting building a solution here, not just targeting the community. You understand? Let it transcend to states. Yeah. Let it transcend to, and we have stakeholders that even want that community that could be of help. People like Oni of Ife. If we can, if we can leverage that, that um, that opportunity. Yeah. But the point still remains that these guys are only interested in whatever. It's like planting a seed. Nobody sees a seed when it's buried. But as it begins to grow, people start, man, this thing is growing. And until it starts bearing fruits, then you see a lot of people plucking. And that's the way it was. There's no shortcuts to it. You understand? So it is very, very important that we um, can build stuff. And also, if we can have like a platform that bridge the gap between the students and us, or we that we have left, or other alumni.
Don't worry, there's a plan. There's a plan for that on this project. Don't worry, you'll be informed.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, another thing is the Alumni Association. People that have actually built something. There are a lot of people that can do stuff, for the system. In fact, these people are more reachable. I talked about talking to people that are reachable, that understands your passion. The government may not understand your passion. The government may just be there for the profit, you understand? But people like us, people like, people that have built Kunle of Campus Chow, like those guys, Neonata, Kunle Ajayi, and all that. If there is a bridge in that gap between the guys that are there right now, and it really makes sense. So back to your question of trying to create for change, not necessarily for profit. You need people that are really passionate about this thing, people that understand the system. Yeah, people that understand the system. I'm happy you said you're already working on that. Try to bridge that gap between the people that are there and people that are left that understand the system. Yeah, by that you are able to, that interaction, naturally something will come out from that relationship, from that interaction. It's very, 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 very important. Yeah. In terms of technology, like if you're starting a technology company, there are a lot of guys that are, some are in Estonia right now, some are in Germany, people like Pago Imbo, Wale Oyediran. There are a lot of them here in Estonia. Kakash, Kayode. Like, if you can connect that bridge, if you can connect the gap between those guys and those guys that are currently in OAU, because they have left OAU, they understand that system, they started with, they will be willing to interact with it. And I'm very, very sure that something great will come from that, from that interaction. Just give it a shot. There are a lot of OAU guys, great OAU guys doing well out there, honestly. Wale Oyediran is working for Amazon. Okay, we have there are a lot of guys here that they are working for great transfer-wise companies. Like, so it's very, very, if we can bridge that gap, and something will come out of it.
All right, thank you so much, Tolu. We're right on time with even 2 more minutes to spare. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest. Thank you for contributing your efforts to inspiring that young people take an active role in defining the future of Africa. So thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, it's been an amazing time. So I'll provide this video to you so that you can always access it anytime on the venture.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right then. So if you've had an amazing time with Tolu, please let him know in the comment section so that he can feel the love, he can know that you are listening in and you've been inspired.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so thank you so
I would like to add one last thing. Yeah, this is just an after last word. Yeah, that instead of trying to be or trying to ask what you want to be after you graduate, why not just ask for the problem you want to solve right
awesome.
now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't wait till then. Solve the problem. Start now and solve this problem right now. Okay. And I wish you all the best. Yeah, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay. I said awesome. It was one of the same things that we discussed during the publications, right? Of starting now, right? And instead of instead of saying, what do I want to become or what do I want to do after school, look into, your local problems and ask what can I do about these problems now. So as leaders, on this program, on the Ventures Matrix Leaders Program, we should be inspiring change by inspiring people who we know are talented and are smart and can create to start solving problems. Right. So don't worry. We're going to take most of the things you said into actual consideration and implement them, because these leaders are going to take what they've learned. And then by next month, when we start the policy advocacy campaign and the nationwide campaign, they are the ones that will drive these campaigns with all of these things that they've learned from you today. So thank you so much for providing us with this information and insights. It has been very
Thanks for
impactful.
having me. Yeah. All
All
right.
right, then.
Enjoy,
Have a
guys.
great day.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
It's not drawing.